Alright, we are back on the Ryan Hartson Show on BWC Internet Radio. Good to be back. So, just got done breaking down some of the baseball. The Red Sox come out of the gate, right out of the gate. Oh, God, that was terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible when things happen like they shouldn't. It upsets me when the balance of the world kind of goes off kilter, you know what I'm saying? The Red Sox are no good, when the Cowboys are terrible, when, in the NBA. Who would it be in the NBA? Like if the Lakers go out in the first round, that just is upsetting. To not see the dominant teams being great. I would take Lakers Celtics in the NBA Finals every single year and never complain. Dominant teams doing great things is what makes sports great, in my opinion. Some people like upsets. You people are flat out wrong. It's just how it is. So let's move on to something that might still upset people. You never know. With this NFL draft. See, the NFL draft is interesting this year in particular because when all these players get drafted, they don't know what's going to happen. Like, they get drafted and it's like, cool, do I go to the facility now? Do I go back home and chill with the family for a while? Do I go hire a personal trainer? Do I go try to meet up with my new teammates? Like, where exactly are we going with this? Like, I'm not too sure where we're headed. But, and that's kind of what makes it interesting, is you've got this labor stuff that's just looming over the draft. It really is. I mean, this labor stuff is just all over the draft. And it almost makes the draft secondary to the labor stuff, right? Because usually what happens, players get drafted and then they go to the facility and they're introduced to the media. And then once they're introduced to the media, they go through OTAs and they go through all the practices and stuff without necessarily being signed to a contract. And then before you know it, they take this break off basically take middle of June through July off before training camp, the 6-7 week span that's between the end of OTAs and the start of training camp. All the players take that off and they go work out somewhere. And that's when you try to get all your draftees signed. And now you don't know if that's going to happen even because you can't sign players, so you can't really work out with them. So the rookies are really in a catch-22. Should I go meet up with my new teammates? Should I just go back home? Am I going to get paid at all? There's this rookie weight scale that's going to screw me over. I'm not going to make as much money as I would have if I'd come out last year. Like Cam Newton, let's say Cam Newton is taken number 1 overall. He's not going to be paid, $45 million, $50 million guaranteed like Sam Bradford was last year. That's not going to happen. But Cam Newton, once he gets drafted, he doesn't know what's going to happen. None of these guys really know where this is going, and that's what makes the draft interesting. Speaking of Cam Newton, I have a question about him. My question is, you look at these mock drafts, and they're all over the internet. Anyone can put a mock draft up and post it on the internet on some fake site. Todd McShay and Mel Kiper of ESPN, two of the most reputable guys out there, and yes, they both work at ESPN, but two of the most reputable guys out there now both have Cam Newton at the top of the draft. Now, I get mock drafts. Like, mock drafts isn't like your big board. Like, your big board is who you think the most talented guys are in this order. With, Nick Fairley, Marcel Darius, Cam Newton, Julio Jones, A.J. Green, You put it in the order of how they're most talented. In the draft, you have to think, well, are these teams going to take them? Where's the buzz right now? Like, it's a very different set of circumstances when you're trying to assess what teams are going to do, as opposed to a big board, what you think teams are going to do. Now, if you ask me, I like big boards better, and if you ask me, Cam Newton should not be drafted before 10th, 11th pick in the draft. Like, Minnesota, I think Minnesota, like, Redskins and Vikings, right in there, 10, 11, 12, 9 even. That is where Cam Newton belongs as a player. Now, Two things about Cam Newton. The first one, I'll give you the good first. He is the most purely talented human being in the draft. AJ Green's probably in the running for that. But he is an absolute specimen. He can throw the ball with unbelievable velocity, somewhat accurately. He was a 70% thrower in college, for whatever that means. So he's fairly accurate with the ball. He runs around like crazy. Has that kind of Tim Tebow running style where he's trying to run people over, which just isn't going to work in the NFL because everybody is as big as Cam Newton in the NFL, especially the really good players. Like, Ray Lewis will blow you up if you try running through the middle against Baltimore. And maybe against Tennessee, that maybe it worked. It's not going to in the NFL. So, he's an unbelievable physical talent. Just a remarkable physical talent. And I believe if the NFL, being a franchise quarterback, and that's what you're drafting Cam Newton to be. Let's not pretend here. You're not drafting him like you're drafting Tebow. You're drafting Tebow as an experiment. Face it, Tim Tebow is a science experiment. Let's just take him and let's just see what he does. That's Tim Tebow. You don't know what you're going to get, and at the end of the day, you're not going to get anything because Tim Tebow really isn't that good. But he was great in college. I loved him in college. He's terrible in the NFL. And if he takes Kyle Orton over for the starting job, it's a joke. Now, that's a completely different issue. Separate issue entirely. Newton, just as a physical specimen, deserves to be the number one pick in this draft. However, there's that other part of it, which is IQ. Newton didn't do too well on the Wonderlic, and he had time to study. Like, they give these guys the test, and they let you study for it, and he still bombed it. That tells you he didn't study for it. And if you don't want to study, you're screwed, right? If you have a quarterback that doesn't want to do their homework, you're in big trouble. Because you need to be, all of these franchise quarterbacks, your Brady, Manning, Breeze, Rodgers, Rivers, Roethlisberger, the top 6 quarterbacks in the league, the best quarterbacks in this league, are working overtime. They are doing everything they can to prepare themselves. They are studying as hard as they possibly can, and they are incredibly sharp. Peyton Manning is as smart as it gets, right? Tom Brady, sharp as a tack. Drew Brees, IQ off the charts. Rodgers, IQ off the charts. Rivers, IQ off the charts. Roethlisberger, but obviously good enough with 2 rings. So, and Newton hasn't really shown that he's that smart. He's also shown some immaturity. Show you what I mean. NFL Network. Now this is kind of petty, and I'm nitpicking here. I'll give you that. But NFL Network goes in with their cameras, and they go in before they turn the cameras on, and they say, "Hey, any of you guys want to have some fun and want to kind of screw around with the cameras, and we'll give you a mic, and we'll have you pretty much just make fun of each other with the microphone." And the two quarterbacks in this draft that have the most maturity and intelligence problems in Cam Newton and Ryan Mallett, they ate that up. They grabbed the mic, they got in front of the cameras, and they laughed it up. However, the intelligent, smart, sharp, mature quarterbacks in this draft, Blaine Gabbert, Jake Locker, Andy Dalton, who was there, Christian Ponder, Florida State guy, I think. They said, no, not going to do that. Don't need to get into that. We'll just stay out of their way. But Newton and Mallett ate it up. They want the spotlight. They want to laugh around. They want to laugh it up. They want to joke around. And that doesn't... that's nitpicking. But doesn't that show if they give you an opportunity to have way too much fun on national television, right? Something potentially could go wrong with your image, and Cam Newton cares about image in a huge way. Once you say you want to be an icon, I don't just want to be a pro quarterback, I want to be an icon, right? It's statements like that where you go too far, you're outlandish, you're extreme. I mean, he has shown immaturity at times. And to be picking Cam Newton at the number 1 pick in the draft, I believe is unsensible, and it's stupid to pick Cam Newton that high. He's not worth it. Okay? I'm not going to say he'll destroy Carolina, but he will have problems. I think he's going to be a problem quarterback. I believe he's immature. He doesn't want to study. He doesn't want to pay attention. He doesn't want to, he just wants to have fun, right? You hear about that all the time. Oh, that guy just wants to have fun, right? That guy isn't winning Super Bowls, okay? So Cam Newton just wants to have fun. A couple other quarterbacks just wanted to have fun. Michael Vick turned out okay. He's turned it around recently. Weird crap happened in the middle there, but he learned that, oh yeah, I actually have to study to be good in this league. And then he goes out and he's the runner-up for MVP. And, goes to show. But when he wanted to have fun, when he wasn't studying, when he wasn't working hard, Atlanta was going 7-9, right? Like, we really don't need you, dude. And then they get the mature quarterback, the Matt Ryan. Suddenly they're 11-5. They're 13-3. Even when they were injured, banged up to no end, they go 9-7. Matt Ryan, mature quarterback, smart quarterback, talented on the field as well. Newton doesn't have those things. The other examples I was going to get to, Ryan Leaf. What was he going to do right after he got drafted? Peyton Manning was going to go study. He went to Vegas. The dude, when he got drafted, went to Vegas with his buddies. He's a bust. The I just want to have fun guy. Cam Newton is the I just want to have fun guy of this draft. I'm not saying... He's looking like a bust to me already. He's looking like a bust to me. I don't think he's going to... When you draft him, I don't think he's going to go in. I don't think he's going to work hard. I don't think he's going to put the work in. I don't think he's going to want to put the work in. There's this whole lack of being on time thing that was in one of his scouting reports. If you're not on time in the NFL, you're done in the league. You're done. You have to be on time. And Cam Newton hasn't been. So that's a problem. Punctuality is a huge issue in the NFL. You have to have it. That's why it's an issue. So Cam Newton, lack of maturity, doesn't want to work hard. The I just want to have fun guy will not win in the NFL. And Cam Newton's the I just want to have fun guy. And I don't think he's going to be successful. And if the Panthers pick him, it's stupid. If the Panthers pick him, it's stupid. I get that they kind of have to do it because, he's the Heisman Trophy winner and the national champion and they need a quarterback. Seriously. Draft like Marcel Darius, Patrick Peterson, Nick Fairley. Draft defense. Save your quarterback for the second round. Jake Locker's going to be there in the second round, I guarantee it. Actually, I don't think the Panthers have a second round pick. Whatever. One way or the other. Find a different quarterback. Use Jimmy Clausen. Run the ball. Play defense. And hopefully you get the number 1 pick, and you'll be able to get what the hell is that guy? Andrew Luck. Hopefully you'll be able to get Andrew Luck next year because Andrew Luck is a franchise quarterback that decided to stay at Stanford. So that's my feeling on Cam Newton. A lot of you probably disagree. I know a lot of people like him, and if it turns out for him, that'd be nice. I just don't trust him. I think he's going to be a bust. And remember what I say. The laugh it up guy. The I just want to have fun guy does not succeed in the NFL, and that's Cam Newton. All right, very good stuff today. We were very successful with the show, at least from my end. Hopefully the viewership, the listenership, will be successful. I'll be doing some BWC stuff in the middle of the week. Next week, if anything weird happens, I'm hoping for like a sex scandal. Roethlisberger rapes someone else. Please, give us something to talk about. Tiger needs to start having sex again. Something needs to happen to get us excited about something. I need a scandal. It's the time of year where the scandals start coming out. If Manny Ramirez hadn't retired today, he would have gotten busted for steroid use again. 100-game suspension. Oh yeah, we would have been talking about that. So good stuff as always. We'll be back at some point. No Jam FPSP this weekend. We're all busy. So good stuff as usual. Thanks for being in. It's the Ryan Hartson Show on BWC Internet Radio.